Hello, in this lesson we're going to go over the verb to be, des. And I'm also going to give you all of the tips and tricks I wish I had as a beginner. So let's go. The verb to be, des. Also, if you're on the website, you can click on it and see the vermaji. So des is a copula, and that means it links subjects and predicates. That means nothing to me, I'm not going to lie. Back in the day when I was first studying, I was like, great. So more simply, it's usually translated to English as to be. In Japanese, the verb to be is not conjugated, therefore, des means is, am, are. So whenever people were saying to me, des is the verb to be, I was like, that still doesn't mean a lot to me. It means is, am, and are. It means all three of them. Because des is a verb, it comes at the end of a sentence. So we're going to go into why it means all three is, am, and are now. So let's look at some examples. 彼女は学生です. She is a student. We've got des highlighted. Des in this case means is. Remember, they put their verbs at the end of a sentence. Is a verb in English. It's not something we really think about, but it is a verb. It's to be. It's the verb to be. 彼らは学生です. They are students. So in this case, des is are, because in English, we conjugate the verb to be. That means that we change it depending on whether we're talking about plurals, first person, third person, we conjugate it. In Japanese, they don't. This, for some people, is kind of harder. I remember it was harder for me. I was like, what? I don't understand what des is. It should actually make it easier. We have 3 words for it in English. They only have 1. You don't need to think about plurals. You don't need to think about anything like that. It's just des. 私は先生です. I am a teacher. So we have an example here of it as is, are, and am. You may have noticed a strange little wa in the sentence. It's not equals. In an earlier lesson, I introduced it as equals when we were doing math. It's not that. It's something else. We'll explain it in the next lesson. So, Sensei's notes. As a native English speaker with very little knowledge of languages before studying Japanese, and this is like my most important note I can give you, I always wondered what they meant by the verb to be. As mentioned, and that sounds really stupid to some people, but we don't say to be in English. Couldn't relate to that very well. As mentioned above, it's generally seen as is, am, or are in English. However, a fun way of looking at it would be a pirate. No, I wouldn't think of it like this too much, but it will give you more of an understanding in a very strange way. So by that, I mean how a pirate might not say is, am, are, but instead use be. So for example, I don't want to say this, are he be a fine crew kind of thing. She be a student. He be a teacher. That's what's happening here. So we conjugate it normally in English. We say he is a teacher. She is a student. You are a teacher, etc. In Japanese, they don't conjugate it. They just say he be a student, she be a teacher, etc. So that's what's happening here. My other big note that is really important, and it's one I've already said, des always goes at the end of the sentence. It is a verb. Generally, des is going to go at the end of the sentence. Maybe if there's 2 connecting sentences, it's not technically at the end of the sentence or something. But if you're ever struggling, where do I put des? It's going to go at the end of your sentence. Probably. I'm going to show you some simple sentences. You have 3 seconds to figure out the meaning. If you need longer, you can stop and pause. And if you don't know the vocab yet, you're welcome to go and look at my vocabulary lesson. Let's go. Inu desu. It's a dog. Just as a note, in Japanese, they don't say a. So inu desu is it is a dog, but there's no word for a, so don't worry about that. It is dog. Neko desu. It's a cat. Gakusei desu. Is a student. So this is actually technically a sentence in Japanese. If someone said to you, is blah 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 a teacher, you could reply like gakusei desu, they're a student. It wouldn't really so much make sense in English to just say is a student, but it does work in Japanese. The assumption in this case is that you're already talking about him or she, etc., or I am a student. So we already know who we're talking about. So you can just say, yeah, is a student, etc. Sensei desu. Same situation as gakusei desu. There's some situations where you could say sensei desu as a full sentence. Okay, we're going to leave it there for today. Thank you for watching. And if you like this video, please consider subscribing. It really, really means a lot to me. And I will see you next time.